Today's beverage of choice is Blackstone Porter from Driftwood Brewery in Victoria, BC. A London-style porter with a bittersweet chocolate character and a blend of caramel, black, and chocolate malts. So today I thought I'd take a closer look at this little anti-spy gadget that I got in my last mailbag. It claims to be an anti-surveillance device. It says that it uses active laser scanning and passive wireless method that can identify eavesdropping devices of various sorts. Wired cameras, electrical appliances, and other sources. Right. It's full of spelling mistakes in this goofy little manual, and I'm pretty confident that I can't trust this thing to do what it says it does. It might do some things, but it can detect SMS send and receive signals. It can detect cell phone and internet signals. Well, if it can detect any kind of RF, then yeah, it'll detect all RF probably. Leakage of household electrical appliances. So right there, if you're looking for somebody spying on you, and this thing can pick up leakage from household electrical appliances, how useless is that? I don't know. I'm not even going to bother reading the rest of the whys in that manual. So the first thing I noticed when I tried it is, and I think I pointed this out in the mailbag, it does have a rechargeable battery in it, and when you plug in the supplied power supply, you can see that there's a little blue LED comes on to light up the horribly cheesy compass as found in the best dollar store kids camping sets. And this thing keeps insisting that north is over that way, no matter which way I turn it, except for that's not north, that's east over there. Okay, what does this thing have? It comes with a charger, which is plugged into right now. It comes with this little set of earphones, which plug in there, so that the rest of the world doesn't have to listen to it screaming away. These are horribly cheap and hurt the ears. And these aren't even 3.5 millimeters, this is 2.5 millimeter. So you can't even use more comfortable earphones, and you can't use these for anything else, not that you'd want to. I did notice when it's plugged into its charger and I turn it on, it's detecting full tilt, but when I unplug the charger, calms right down. So its own charger is either noisy enough to upset its detector, or its detector is not very selective. So you can change the sensitivity of the detection. I'm just going to turn it down so it's not detecting my hand, because that's one thing that it does seem to do. And as I showed you in the mailbag video, I tried it near a couple of things. There's a Wi-Fi radio device in there, and it's sort of clicking occasionally. But then again, when I touch it to anything, it's detecting off my bottle of alcohol over there. It's not okay. At one point, it was detecting off my switching power supply here. But if I hold it up to my phone, yes, my camera is a cell phone. Cell phones are RF devices. It's not detecting anything. I'll turn up the sensitivity a little bit, and now it's detecting everything, including my hand. So I'll just bring it just down below its little sensitivity level. Bring it up to the phone, nothing. Bring it back there. Yeah, maybe it's detecting something off that. I don't know. It's hard to tell. So I'm going to turn that noisemaker down. It's also got a little a vibrator inside it. So you can, according to the manual, discreetly have it in your pocket, and it'll just buzz when it picks up something. Like your cell phone going off maybe, or the Wi-Fi in the room. So the other thing it claims is that it uses a laser detection to detect cameras. it does that by having these blinking red, no, they're not lasers, these are just LEDs. However, if you push and hold the button, the controls that turns them on and off, you can change how fast they blink, which I guess is a feature. And you can turn them on and off. And they go way up and then solid on, then they go back down to a nice slow flash. So it claims that plus this little red lens in here lets you detect camera lenses, hidden camera lenses. So let's get some cameras down in here. Here's my little SQ8 little camera. Here is a cell phone with a camera lens. Here is an ancient webcam. So let's see if we can detect any of these things. Oh, so you can see a little bit of reflection off the glass of that lens. Okay. And how about this guy? At this distance, you can see a little bit of reflection off the lens. What happens if we get a little bit further away? Yeah, sort of if you get straight on the axis, but anywhere else, you can't. But if you're straight on axis with any reflective surface, it can. Okay. How about the cell phone? Well, yeah, you can sort of detect the camera lens there, but you can also pick up the chrome just as much. So I don't know how useful that laser is, except for it's another Y. Okay, whatever. Yeah, that's enough poking fun at this thing. It's obviously a cheap piece of shit. More interestingly, let's see what's inside it, shall we? So there's 4 screws in the back of here. We'll yoink those out and see what's under there. I'm predicting there's not very much. Maybe just like a simple, almost as simple as a crystal radio receiver circuit, maybe. Something pretty basic. Oh, there's a few things going on in there. Okay, there's a little lithium-ion pack, which feels a little spongy and gassy. I don't know, can you see that? Yee. But it does have a little protection circuit in it, so that's nice. I think that's a protection circuit anyway. It looks like there's something going on in there. Kind of crusty soldering, but whatever. So there is a little vibrating motor. There is the lasers, which are simply LEDs. Wonder if we can light one of those up. So I've got about 3.5 volts on here, and I've got it current limited 20 some milliamps. Let's put these across one of these so-called lasers. Yeah, you can see them glowing there. That pulls down to 1.9 volts. So that's just a red LED. It's just a standard set of nice bright little red LEDs. Nothing magical going on at all. Not lasers. Let's see what some of these things on the board are here. LM358. Bog standard op amp. Nothing special about that. And what is this guy? It is a secret. Not holding out any great hope that it's something super magical or anything, but oh, that's interesting. Those LEDs are on a subboard that's sandwiched on top of the main board. Can you see that there? That's interesting, I suppose. I spent a bit more time poking around this LM358 op amp. So this side of it, the 2 input pins are grounded and the output pin goes nowhere, so they're only using half of it. And this side here, the which one is it? The non-inverting input comes past the resistor and off the collector of this transistor. So that's all amplifier, and into the op amp, and then the output of the op amp goes over to what we're assuming here is the microcontroller. So that's, and I don't see any diodes. Hang on. Yeah, I don't see any diodes associated with that would be rectifying or detecting the RF. So it's probably just amplifying it up. And maybe some of these capacitors are giving it a bit of a timing constant, but it's just amplifying the signal up, and it's going into presumably an analog input. It might be going into a digital input. I don't know. The only clue that I have about this, what I think is a microcontroller, is it says PIC right there. Is that some sort of a PIC microcontroller? I don't know. I don't know PIC microcontrollers at all. But that's what I'm going to go with. So, the battery is coming from over here. There's a bunch of components that aren't populated, including an inductor, a diode, some capacitors. So that looks like some power supply circuitry that's been omitted. So a little diode there, which is probably steering the power either from the internal battery or the external jack, I would guess. The date on the PCB is 2016. They're making these little turds for a while. Okay. Not a huge amount to see in there. Let's just take a closer look at this compass now that it doesn't have the magnet in proximity to it. And yeah, it's pointing closer to north. But yeah, as soon as I bring that little speaker on the circuit board closer to it, it points straight at it every single time. Let's live a little bit dangerously and peel the cap off this battery and just see what's on that little protection board there. Oh wow, that is just a little concerning that it's so puffy. And that came off easily. Okay, that's not really a surprise. That's a DW01. So that's just a standard battery protection chip, and it's MOSFET. Okay, but yeah. Now, can you see that? Yeesh. You know what might be more interesting is taking a look inside its power supply. It's probably pretty cheap and shitty too. It says on it 5 volt, 500 milliamp. So nothing too spectacular. Not even sure what I'd reuse that for. And you could hear earlier that it was pretty noisy. Okay, just unclip that. Capacitors. This is designed to have a USB connector on there, so it's designed just to be a normal little 5 volt charge board. Okay. So it's a fairly basic little just switching power supply, rectifier, diode there, transistor or smoothing capacitor, transistor oscillator, transformer. One of these is rectifier diode, the other one's a zener to set the 5 volts back through the optocoupler to through this transistor to control the amplitude of the oscillation going into the transformer, and there's your closed loop. Here's the two AC inputs at 110 volts. Pretty meager separation there. There's your split between the high voltage and the low voltage. Yeah. So there's the closest point that the high voltage and the low voltage gets to each other. That's not great. That's pretty tight for arcing over on the input side. That's pretty tight there too. This track right here is one side of the AC incoming, theoretically neutral, but this thing's not polarized, so you plug it in either way up. So that could just as easily be live. Not at all what I would call a safe thing. The 5 volt line on the output is pinched. Nice. Ooh, you know, this lead's folded over there for the resistor for this LED. Yeah, that's only 5 volts, but come on, guys. Really? And again, that one, it wouldn't take much if something just mashed against it to short some of those across the tracks. Yeah, like this little guy here, and this is on the high voltage side. And actually, that's one transistor junction away from being hot. Look at that. Wow. Yeah. Not a quality item, but not really anything that I didn't expect with this cheap little piece of shit. Like I said, I only paid, what was it, $2.94 at auction for this thing as a curiosity, just to see exactly how shitty it is. Bottom line, yeah, don't waste your money unless you want, you know, some nice bright LEDs and a vibrating motor. And oh, look, that's already broken off. I didn't even notice that before. That little connection to the battery, when I unfolded it, just completely broke off. Wow. I guess I don't have to worry about that board being live then, or shorting out my lithium cell. Anyway, it was kind of fun going through this thing. Maybe the compass will be useful for something. I'll stick it on the dog's leash. Yeah, well, if you have any conflicting opinions, or you just want to laugh with me, please join me down in the comments section. I will, yeah, talk to you later. Thanks for watching.